Well, seeing as we have a quorum, I will call to order this meeting of the Board of Directors of the Waste Reduction District of Monroe County for Thursday, March 13th, 2025. Mr. McGlasson, will you please call the roll?
I just confirm with TSD that we are broadcasting because I'm still seeing the County Bicentennial logo on my screen. All right. Piedmont Smith.
Here.
Jones. Thompson.
Here.
Swafford.
Here.
Madeira. Thomas.
Here.
Wiltz.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. So the first item on the agenda is just for informational purposes, the Executive Committee meeting minutes. There were actually 2 meetings of the Executive Committee in March, our regular meeting on March 4th, and then we had a meeting with staff from the Rocky Mountain Institute about possible solar panels on the site of our landfill on March 24th. So questions or concerns about those minutes from board members? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes from the Board of Directors meeting on March 13th. Do we have a motion?
I move approval.
We have a motion and a second from Commissioner Thomas. Are there any questions or concerns about these minutes before we vote? Seeing none, we can just do a voice vote, right?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes from March 13th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain, was not present.
Okay, one abstention. That motion passes. Then we will move on to the Controller's report, starting with cash flows from Controller Goins.
The cash flow summary is on page 9 of your board packet. Here are the balances as of March 31st for the following accounts. Operating is $4,305,875.57. Closure bond debt is $13,338.47. Capital is $45,991.91. Landfill post-closure is $802,725.96. The individual cash flow statements for each of these are on pages 10 through 15 of the packet, and the operating fund graph is on page 12. What questions are there on the account balances?
Thank you, Ms. Goins. Are there any questions on the cash flow report? Right, seeing none. And thank you also for always providing the chart on page 12 of the operating fund balance. It shows us the healthy amount that keeps growing year by year, that we are now, of course, exploring ways to invest that money, so it's good to see that overview. Let's move on to payroll and claims.
On page 16 of the packet, you have a summary of the pre-approved payroll and claims since our last meeting in the amount of $243,043.21. The backup for those numbers are on pages 17 through 53. The claims for approval this week were sent in an email on Wednesday and are in the amount of $22,603.95. Documentation was included in the Wednesday email. That brings the total of all payroll and claims that we are recommending for approval to $265,647.16. What questions are there regarding these claims?
Right, do we have any questions regarding the claims? I just have one question, just so I can better understand. How does the Everside Health Clinic, how do they bill for services? Because I see we paid, there are several lines for the first quarter, then there were several lines for the second quarter. Is that divided between different departments, or how is that Why is that so many different lines?
It is divided up by department. They bill quarterly. We had a snafu with receiving the first quarter bill, which is why we're paying for 2 quarters this go around. But it is split up between the departments, and the amount is based on eligible bodies that are to our policy is to have access to the Marathon, it's now Marathon Health Clinic. Through the district, you have to be enrolled in our health insurance plan. But that would include spouses and dependents that are included in health coverage.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion on approval of payroll and claims.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilor Wiltz and a second from Commissioner Thomas on approval of the payroll and claims as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Next, we will move on to Resolution 2025-02, lease agreement with Monroe County Board of Commissioners for the Monroe County Extension Services. Mr. McGlasson, would you like to introduce this for us?
Certainly. Excuse me, this is just a renewal of a lease that's an agreement that's been in place for going on about 10 years now. I think they've been, the Monroe County Extension Services have been officed out of our building for about 10 years. The county, through the agreement with Purdue University for the Extension Services, is required to offer or to provide office space for them. It's a situation that, I think both parties, staff from both parties believe is working very well. We've not had any issues. Both parties use the conference and education and training rooms. We rarely have any conflicts with scheduling those, and it's just a situation that's worked out really well for both parties. So, in the memo on page 54, you can see that obviously this go around we did have to update for the district's name, first lease renewal since we've changed our name. At the county's request, I believe the previous agreement had a 3-year initial term. This one has a 5-year initial term, and there is an automatic renewal clause in that unless either party provides notice that they want to opt out of the agreement. And as far as payment goes, the lease itself is for the sum of $1 a year, but then there's also a monthly payment to help with utilities, building maintenance, landscaping, and stuff like that. Previously, that was $650. In this new lease, it is increasing to $700 with a new clause in there that allows that amount to be amended at any time during the term of the lease by mutual written agreement of both parties. So, and then there's a new section in there that just clarifies the payment terms. That we invoice the county quarterly for the rent due under the lease. So this was reviewed and approved by the county commissioners at their meeting on March 27th. So it's just waiting this board's approval, and we'll move forward.
Thank you. Can we get a motion on the table for Resolution 2025-02?
Move approval.
We had a motion from Mayor Thompson and a second from Commissioner Thomas. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? All right, seeing none. Can we still do a voice vote on resolutions, or do we need a roll call? Oh, Commissioner Madera is here. Okay, we will. And we also need to go to the public. So Commissioner Madera, we are talking about Resolution 2025-02, the lease agreement with the County Extension Services. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this item? anybody here in the Nat U Hill room. I also don't see any hands raised. You, Mr. McGlasson? Okay. All right. Well, then let's do a roll call vote on this resolution.
Swafford,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Madeira,
We did not hear that. I can see that you're saying yes, but do we need to get that?
Yes.
Audible? There we
go. Thomas,
Yes.
Wiltz,
Yes.
Piedmont Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. So I have in my inbox a request from the Commissioner's Office to sign that agreement, so I will now be able to do that. All right. We'll move on to Resolution 2025-03 to accept assignment of judgments from Monroe County. Mr. McGlasson, will you introduce this, please?
And you can see the memo on page 64 kind of explains this. And for those that were on the board last year, if you'll recall, when we went through our budgeting process, we did add a new line to the budget, an expense line for court ordered remediations. This is something where, in working with the county attorney's office, we have gotten to the point with some cases where we're not getting cooperation or getting the property owner to get things into compliance, where the county attorney is taking those to court on our behalf, and in some cases we have gotten judgments for us to go in and hire a contractor to get the violations corrected on the property, and then be allowed to put a lien on the property to recoup the costs for that. But because it's the county attorney that's initiating all of this, the county is listed as the plaintiff on the case. So in order for that money to come back to the district, the county, there's a clause in the law that allows a plaintiff to assign judgments in these types of cases to another party. So that's the county has done that. With what included in the packet is the county's resolution 2025-10 that does allow the county to make assignments in these cases to the district. So this resolution is just the district formally accepting those assignments when the need occurs.
Thank you. Let's get a motion on the table, please, regarding Resolution 2025-03.
Move approval of Resolution 2025-03.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments from board members? Seeing none, is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this resolution? Any? No hands on Teams? Okay. Well, I think we can then proceed to a roll call vote, please, Mr. McGlasson.
Thompson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Piedmont Smith,
Yes.
Swafford,
Yes.
Madeira,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. So if we ever recover any funds, we are now able to accept them. All right. Next, we have an annual resolution regarding the Monroe County landfill financial assurance. Mr. McGlasson.
Yes, this is an annual requirement for all landfills across the state to make a financial assurance demonstration that the funding is available to, in our case, to fund the remaining post-closure requirements of the facility. The law allows 7 different mechanisms by which that demonstration can be made, and we have historically used what's called the local government financial test option, which does not require the expenditures of money on the part of the district or the county vis-a-vis purchasing a bond or an insurance policy or anything like that. But due to the amount of, or the estimated remaining post-closure costs, the district doesn't meet the financial requirements to make that demonstration. So historically, the county has made that demonstration on our behalf. This resolution is just authorizing staff to make that request of the county council.
Thank you. Let's get a motion on the table regarding Resolution 2025-04.
Move approval of Resolution 2025-04.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any board member who has a comment or question? Yes, Councilor Will.
I was wondering, Mr. McGlasson, if you could just speak briefly about the difference from year to year in the post-closure estimate.
Yeah, there's a formula in the law on how this is calculated, and our engineering firm does the cost estimate calculation for us. In general, we have been seeing anywhere from $90,000 to $110,000 reduction year over year. As we get closer to the end of the third-year post-closure period. There is, however, inflation is one of the factors that goes into making that determination, and it was last year or the year before we did actually see a slight increase because of the inflationary factor. But as you can see in the one this year, it's about a $92,000 decrease from what it was last year, so we're back trending in the right direction.
Any other comments or questions from board members? All right, let's go to the public. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on Resolution 2025-04, asking the Monroe County Council for the landfill financial assurance? Okay, not seeing any hands raised. So we can come back for a roll call vote, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
Wiltz?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Piedmont Smith?
Yes.
Swafford?
Yes.
Madeira?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Moving right along, we have a fourth resolution. It's like deja vu because it's amending the district-approved vendor list once again. Mr. McGlasson, you want to just review the small changes here?
Yeah, and, apologies. This is not something we like to do regularly, but unfortunately, after the vendor list was approved last month, we did turn right around and receive some notices from vendors of acquisitions and name changes. So you can see the memo on page 79. I guess two of our household hazardous waste vendors, Heritage Environmental Services was acquired by Arkwood Environmental, and New Genesis was acquired by Caldwell Environmental. We also have the lab that we use for water sampling at the landfill was inadvertently left off of the last update last month, so we'd like to get them back on there. We do regular water sampling. Sound Management was formerly Artistic Media Partners, and that's who handles the advertising for WHCC, who we do radio advertising with. And then you can see then obviously the three, there are two that were acquired and the one name change are being removed.
Right, so this is just cleaning up our approved vendor list. Can we have a motion for this resolution, please?
Move approval of Resolution 2025-05.
I get second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second for the resolution to amend the approved vendor list. Are there any questions or comments by board members? None? Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this item? We have a taker.
Hello, my name is Matthew Austin. I just wanted to point out that Caldwell Environmental is also the same or sister company, same company as Caldwell that we visited this past month. They do a lot of food waste stuff, so I would love to see us expand from Caldwell Environmental to the Caldwell Food Waste Services as well.
Duly noted, thank you.
That cover both, Mr. McGlasson?
Sorry?
Are both entities covered?
No, it is, they are, it's the same family, the Caldwell family, but they are two separate companies. Caldwell Environmental would be moving forward, will be a household hazardous waste vendor. The composting and food waste is Caldwell Incorporated.
Are there any other comments from members of the public? I don't see any hands raised. I don't know if I would see the hands raised, but I'm sure you would alert me.
Do not see any.
All right. Well, we can then do a roll call vote on Resolution 2025-05.
Madeira?
Aye.
Thomas?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Piedmont Smith?
Yes.
Swafford?
Yes.
Wiltz?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. Now we can move on to the CAC report, Citizens Advisory Committee. And we did have, it was attached to the email that went out yesterday, but we have the chair of the CAC here. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, directors. As noted, the report is not in the packet, but it does include the contents of February as well, which was also not included in the last meeting packet. So now you have both in written form. And since we already went over the February content.
Could you please say your name just for the record?
Yes, if I didn't already, I'm sorry. Joseph Winia from the Citizens Advisory Committee. So yeah, we did touch base, or did verbally present on the February activity, so I'll skip right ahead to this month's activity. And I think the first two items, the visit to Caldwell and the Organics Waste Task Force updates, will probably also be included in department reports, if that's accurate, Mr. McGlasson. Did you plan to touch on?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Those are, overlapping things between the district and the CAC. And so the, I guess, third and most active item that will also be present at our next meeting is discussion about tabling at the farmers market in an effort to work both on general waste reduction outreach, but also for recruiting for the Citizens Advisory Committee. That was brought up by Mr. Austin as a potential opportunity that I think is likely that we'll pursue, but we'll discuss as a voting budget item at our next meeting. All I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Winia. Are there any questions on the report?
No, that just sounds like a fun idea with the farmer's market.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll just have to make sure that it's something that we can justify doing by having enough people present to staff it regularly. And we also talked about the opportunity of overlapping with other similarly focused organizations who we could potentially share the space with.
It could be a way to distribute information about home composting as well. That kind of merges into the food that you buy at the market, and that
Absolutely.
the carrot tops what you do with it.
Yep, exactly. That's what we're hoping for.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to department reports, starting with administration. Mr. McGlasson.
Okay, bear with me. This might take a minute or two. A couple of updates on some of the legislation that we've been watching. House Bill 1134 was heard, was returned to the House with amendments. You can see in the on the March 27th that in the Local Government Finance Committee, the bill was amended again to remove all of the previous amendments and back to the original language, and sent back to the House, in essence, with the original language. I've heard that there still might be a push to get some or all of that previous amended language back into the bill. So we'll watch and see what happens with that in conference. But that's the one that originally had to do with adding some issues, topics that could be addressed in an executive session, and then amended to include a bunch of things regarding how virtual meetings are handled. So, and then House Bill 1677, which had to do with waste disposal and more specifically illegal dumping. Unfortunately, the Senate Committee on Corrections and Criminal Law has not heard that bill in committee, and at this point they do not have any sessions scheduled before the deadline to get things back to the floor and sent back to the House chamber. So unfortunately that bill might be dead at this point. And then lastly, the Senate Bill 459, which is the one that has to do with cybersecurity at publicly owned treatment works. That one did pass through the House unanimously and was returned to the Senate yesterday. So do anticipate that bill ultimately making it to the governor's desk. So. And then do want to let people know that we do still have compost bins for sale online at the Waste Reduction District orders.com that we've done in previous years, kind of as an observance of Earth Day and Arbor Day. I would note the rain barrels are still there and can be ordered. However, with the tariff situation that's been happening, we ultimately had to kind of guesstimate how many of each item we might sell and pre-order a bunch of stuff to get it across the border before April 2nd. Of course, now that's all been, delayed again. So if we get enough rain barrel orders, we will have another shipment sent down, but they're due to transportation costs. The vendor that we're working with does have some minimums, but it would be a combination. We don't necessarily have to have 10 of one or 20 of each. It's a combination, but if we have enough additional orders come in, we will process another order and get another shipment in. So they are available to order, but we do. I do know that there are still compost bins that were pre-ordered that have not been spoken for yet and can be ordered. Currently, the deadline for that is April the 15th. You can see we're, as I mentioned previously, we were awarded the waste tire grant from ITEM that we applied for, so we're working with our tire vendor and the Fair Board to schedule the time late this summer or early fall to do a tire amnesty event out at the fairgrounds. I'm certainly thankful to the fairgrounds for allowing us to use that space. And also, kind of an exciting thing, the Organic Waste Task Force, if you'll recall, did do a community survey for people interested in doing some home composting and potentially taking materials from their neighbors. And we have identified and made contact with one of those respondents and are looking at setting up a pilot in the Elm Heights neighborhood. This person is willing to accept waste from their neighbors, and so we're working with them to make sure we get them set up with the supplies and the equipment that they need, and then we'll start contacting the neighbors in the area that also responded that they would be interested in taking their food waste somewhere. So I'm excited to get that pilot started and hope that here we can get that up and running in the next few weeks. And then as Mr. Wynia had mentioned, we were prepared to do some of this last month, but time ran short on us. So the CAC was able to arrange a tour with Caldwell Incorporated to their composting facility in Morristown, Indiana, which is about 30 minutes north of Shelbyville. impressive facility, impressive operation, and they are doing, with the Shelby County Solid Waste District, are doing food waste collection in partnership with them that's coming to the site. They're in the process of expanding. They have plans to construct an anaerobic digester in the next year or so. And they are looking to expand their collection radius. So it is something that we're looking at and considering. Right now, the transportation costs are pretty high. But I think that we had representatives from the school system on that tour as well, and there's certainly interest in seeing if we can find a way to combine efforts to collect waste from at district facilities through some of the school systems, and possibly reach out to some other local local businesses that would generate a good amount of food waste, and see if we can combine efforts to split costs, increase volumes, to move material quickly. I'll be honest with you, I'm not real interested in having a 30-yard container of food waste sit at one of our facilities for 3 or 4 weeks waiting to get filled up to haul, because it is organic material and the odors and pests, and so it is something we want to turn around relatively quickly. But it certainly is an interesting, or I guess, an opportunity that we're certainly interested in looking at and determining the feasibility of and moving forward with, if it's something that we can do. I believe, Ms. Piedmont Smith, I believe you were on that tour as well, so I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that.
Not really. I just was wondering, so what is the next step? Is staff going to do some outreach to MCCSC?
Yeah, the next steps are to do MCCSC, obviously, as they had representatives there and express some interest, and working to identify other potential parties that might be large enough generators that they would consider contributing to this, both material and financially. I believe the estimate that we got from Caldwell for transportation was a little over $1,000 to bring an empty box down and take a full box away. So it's a hefty price tag, but if we can, like I said, if we can get that cost split between multiple entities, it's something that might be able to be absorbed by the entities interested in doing so.
Thank you. Is that the end of your
No,
report?
I got one more.
All right, go for it.
The other thing that we were wanting to report on last month, and this kind of goes the second set of executive committee meeting minutes that are in your packet. We've had a couple of meetings related to the possibilities of installing solar panels or a small solar farm at the landfill. Mr. Polson originally got connected with the Environmental Resiliency Institute at Indiana University, and they put the first meeting together that had a number of representatives from potential parties that would be interested in doing something like this and would be players in it, like the energy companies, Duke, Hoosier Energy, SCI, REMC. And Rocky Mountain Institute, who we then ultimately had a follow-up meeting with the full executive committee. And so at this point, there's been no discussion about costs or who's paying for what, who's funding what, or any of that. But there's interest, from a local utility and their energy provider to continue looking at this and assess the feasibility of doing this. So it is something that we're going to continue to pursue and look at, and if it's something that's there's an interest from a utility to pursue, and it's financially, economically feasible for the district to move forward with, we would certainly bring that to the board for consideration.
Great. Many exciting opportunities
So-
out there. Are there any questions for Mr. McGlasson about his report or any other administration department things? So I wanted to ask just something about, you mentioned in addition to the composting bins, there are rain barrels. Are those, when I go to the district website, I just see the link to order the composting containers, not rain barrels.
Well, if you follow that link, then both products are there. We may have inadvertently omitted rain barrels from the description on the link, and I apologize if that's the case.
Okay, I do see a rain barrel. Yeah, but even when you click on the link, the headline at the top only talks about compost bins.
Yeah, and when you go through the product listing, the compost bins and products are listed first, and there's quite a few of those options out there, packages and stuff for people to order, and I think there's only one or two rain barrel options, and so they're down toward the bottom of the product listing.
Okay. I mean, we're almost at the deadline, so there's no point in changing this, but maybe next time just make it more clear that there are also rain barrels if you scroll.
Well, and again, like I said, the rain barrels that we pre-ordered to beat what we thought was going to be the tariff deadline have sold out at this point.
Oh,
So,
okay, right.
but
So it's
if
kind of
there's
a moot point.
but if there's enough interest and enough people go online and order them, we will accept another shipment if the vendor says that enough quantity have been ordered.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions? Or we can move on to the next department report, which will be recycling, hazmat, HHW, rural recycling centers, with Joey Long.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you. I will start with the recycling and reuse. In between all the weather, the rainstorms, we have met with a lot of new residents in our area. And I want to say they have said thank you and expressed how nice everything looks. And they are very appreciative for everything that we have offered. So I wanted to pass that along because that goes out to everybody that's involved. The Green Business Network. We would like to welcome Pizza X as one of our new green business customers. We're handling their recycling needs, so that's nice. Again, I want to say thank you to Kayla Strand because she's met with them and we've done some on-site assessments and we hope to offer more recycling to them, and so that's really nice. The hazardous materials with the vendor list and the name changes comes along with some stuff for staff. Staff's learning new packaging requirements because there's new owners in the name changes. So they're currently learning how the new vendors want their stuff handled and packaged. So we're going through and meeting all their requirements. And with the weather, the storms that has passed through the rural sites, obviously, if you've been out there, you've seen some puddling water at some of the sites. I've talked to our vendor today. We're hoping if the weather holds out, we can do some parking lot work and add some gravel and do some just basic grading. But, we're in early spring, so we expect more rain. We expect more damage to the gravel. It's an ongoing process. We want to say, thank you to all the residents that deals with it and doesn't complain. It's been, it's good. So we will work on keeping everything up to date. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions, I will do my best to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Are there any questions for Mr. Long about the recycling centers, et cetera? Right.
Ms. Piedmont-Smith.
Yes, Mr. McGlasson.
I want to add one thing to Mr. Long's report. Another exciting change we think that's coming. Our orange bag vendor has changed the packaging for our orange bags, so they will no longer be in a plastic wrap. They will be in a paper wrap that is recyclable. That will have a QR code linked to the district's website for information about the bag program, what's accepted and not accepted. So again, you know, because of the way that we order these bags, it will be some time before those make it out into the store, but we're excited for that change and thankful that the vendor is doing that.
That is good news. Also good news that Pizza X is now on board, being one of their loyal customers. Make me feel even better eating the pizza. All right, no questions? We can move on to the landfill and compliance report with Mr. Paulson.
Good afternoon, Lee Paulson, Environmental Compliance Landfill Director. Couple things I'd like to highlight on the report that you guys see there is that we received our response from ITEM in regards to our November 2024 groundwater sampling event. Came in pretty routine and they agreed with the findings and the stats. So as we prepare for our May groundwater event, we're to continue the same process, continue with what we're doing and how we're doing, and keep up with how we're doing that. This water sampling event is what we consider our long list, which is quite a bit more pollutants to test for. But at this point, I don't really see anything to change with how we've been seeing our numbers and that kind of stuff. But right now, we're getting everything set up for that. The other thing I wanted to highlight was that we are preparing to do our next planting of the Shiloh Road area of the trees. Tentatively right now, our planting date for the next section of tree area is Tuesday, April 22nd, with an alternative date of Tuesday, April 29th. So I'll put it out there for CAC or any board members. This is a pretty interesting thing to come be a part of if you guys are looking for something to do to be outside for the day. It takes about a day for us to do the amount of trees that we are going to be planting, which is roughly 8,000. We'll be a little dirty, but we can always use a set of hands to be in the planter to take a break or do some of that kind of stuff. Plus, it's interesting to see how this process goes and see the various kind of trees and the different kind of stems and different kind of things like that. So the only other thing is our compliance stuff is kind of cruising along pretty well. The addition of Rick Serpa as a full-time employee has really been helpful to trying to address the roadsides and alleviate the extremely high caseload for Mary Beth. So we're starting to transition some cases to him now that he's been here a couple months and kind of has his feet underneath him. And things are working out pretty well. So, but much past that, the information is there in regards to our treatment system. Last month, we treated quite a bit of water before the rains came. The rains have been a little challenging to deal with, but we're getting through all that thanks to Kevin Hunter with Bynum Faneuil and his extra help with hauling and making sure that we're in target with where we need to be. So if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Are there any questions on that report? What was the date of the tree planting again?
We're looking at right now, Tuesday, April 22nd. The area where we're planting the trees right now is not underwater, but it's standing water in a lot of places. So we got to let that dry out. Hopefully as the weather cooperates with us, and then we just got to mow it real good. And then we should be good to go. The long-term forecast looks to be minimal amount of rain between now and then. So we're hoping that's our target. Because if we get into that following week, it gets kind of challenging because Mary Beth and I will be getting more focused on the groundwater for May, and it's just hard to do everything all in one time. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. Mother Nature has a way of creating difficulties.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That's really exciting. 8,000 trees. Wow.
Yeah, and that's on top of last year we planted 8,800. So we have a similar size area, but it's a little smaller. But different combination of trees. So we're, again, and plus it'll give people that want to come out, it'll give a chance to see the trees that we planted last year to kind of track the growth and to see where they're at after a year.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
All right, now we can go to a period of public comment, on general public comment. And I do see one person approaching the podium here. If you're on Microsoft Teams, you can raise your hand there.
My name is Matthew Austin. I'm the vice chair of the CSC and a resident. For those of you that were on the exec committee last year, you might remember that I presented a food waste pilot focused on festivals. Well, with the Taste of Bloomington coming up, this seems like an ideal opportunity to inform the public about what their food waste options are, specifically bokashi, which is fermentation of food waste. My sister's nonprofit, we've taken care of a festival down in Orange County with a meal of 125 people. We're presenting or we have a table at Bloomington's Earth Day as well to teach bokashi, so people, instead of throwing their food in the trash, they ferment it. And so we're going to be taking, or I'll be taking the proposal asking for $5,000 from the Waste Reduction District, as well as $5,000 grant from the Bee Causes Working Group to fund materials, education, training, so on and so forth. So I just wanted to put that on your radar because I will be, in the next month or two, presenting that request for monies to present this to the citizens of Bloomington and Monroe County. And then the other part of that, we are looking to partner with farmers because the items restriction is 300 square feet for a compost pile. Once you get over 300 square feet, then you move into commercial. And so we have a farmer who is ready to accept food waste. He wants to build a pilot with black soldier fly larvae. Black soldier flies will consume the food waste, and then their output is larva, a protein-rich larva, which you can use to feed chickens and pigs. So that would be the idea, is to take all festival food waste, and our goal isn't to take all the food waste, our goal is to educate, but if we get 10, 15, 20 some odd 5-gallon buckets of food waste that gets fermented, then we could tie that to farmers around town who could then take the same model and produce a valuable product from what people can currently consider to be waste that goes to our landfills. And so his estimate is about $7,000 for the pilot setup. So I'll be giving you more details about that, but I just wanted to put it on your radar, knowing that that would be coming up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when the Waste Reduction District switches from their current recycling provider to the new provider that was just approved, Rumpke. I think it's vitally important to inform all county residents that now wax-covered paper products will be accepted because they currently aren't. And we've been doing, Garden Quest has been doing a neighborhood pilot program with TerraCycle, and I've been driving out our waste-covered products to Rumpke's facility. And we easily see that's one of the largest household waste products that can be turned into a recycling or a valuable product for the Waste Reduction District as they get paid on it. So I think it's important for the city residents to know that because currently that's still going into their trash. And so if they know that, they can start bringing that to the Waste Reduction District, which increases the volume and makes more money. So I think it's very important to maybe it's educational, maybe it's advertising, but to let everybody know that that is also a great opportunity to reduce our waste that's going to the landfill 66 miles away. Thank you. Do I need to put my name down twice for the two different comments?
I think so, no. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. I don't see any hands raised on Teams or any other indication for public comment. So we will move to comments from directors. Are there any comments from members of the board? Being none, I think we can wrap up this meeting. Thank you all, and we are adjourned.